And we're live. Hello, everybody. Hi, Tanys.
Hi.
So, this is another one of my episodes or segments, however you want to call them, of Crystal Visions, where I love inviting guests who have a passion and a love and such a beautiful connection to crystals joining me on my channel because I love having conversations about crystals with crystal lovers. And whether you know a lot about them or you don't, or you're interested in learning more about them, it's we're all here. We all come from different levels and different experiences. So for me, I love these episodes to be about learning about crystals and finding out how they can help us on all different levels. And just for a quick word to YouTube, to anybody watching now and on replay, we will probably be talking about at some point crystals helping us with our physical condition. But please just know, YouTube, that this is for entertainment purposes only, and that crystals are an enhancement, something to go along with traditional medicine. So always make sure you contact a medical professional. So now that I got that all out of the way, um, welcome. I just want to say really quick hello, Miss Tarot D was our first one waiting for us. Hello, my dear. Thank
Hello.
you for
Hello.
joining us. And we have Nalani, Hypnicity. Welcome.
Hey.
And we have Leah.
Hi,
Hello.
Leah.
And you need to step away. That's fine. We will be here. So, wow. So, just where we want to start off is, oh, and Lady Silver. Hello, Lady Silver.
Working and lurking.
Working and lurking. I love that. I heard that in 150 years we will be able to read them. I think some people can.
Read
Um,
crystals?
mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, for sure.
There's a lot of us already who do, and I believe I have that lady, lovely little young lady, right here with me today. So just saying hi really quick to Jessica Lynn,
Hey,
and I do
Jessica.
want to star that comment because I do want to bring that back up. Um, so, Tannis, how did you get into crystals, or what would you like to share with everybody who may not be not aware, but may not know who you are or your channel, or know very little? That because I know Tannis has
Yeah.
been on Gerald's channel. He's great at introducing us to new people in our community, and I
Mhm.
just adore Tannis's energy, her and Michelle Marie, and I want to invite her to my channel. So without further ado, my dear, you have the floor.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Tanys Coughlan. I'm founder of Twillow Lifestyle Community and the Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I do all sorts of energy stuff. Hi, Sylvia. So I'm an energy healer. So I do Reiki, I do Nocti, I do aqua lead, all sorts of energy healing, as well as etheric surgery and that kind of thing. I also am a crystal master and a Celtic shamanic high priestess. And so I always joke about my gateway drug being Reiki. That was like my
Gateway.
first thing.
Yep. It was my portal.
It was a portal,
Yep.
gateway portal.
Yep.
Yeah. So I started working with energy. It's probably 11 years ago now, 12 years ago, something like that. And, it's just become my passion. I mean, I think I've done this for many, many lifetimes, this sort of thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it's been a fun ride. I mean, I some of my first crystal classes were like just little basic workshops. Um, One of my mentors did a workshop, crystalline consciousness workshop, which totally stoked me. And then you end up getting more and more. And then I took my master's through another teacher in Toronto. And yeah, I mean, crystals really they are a first dimensional being, is what they are. So they do talk, they do sing, they do react to us. So you can hold two crystals, one in each hand of different crystals, and one will get warm and one will not. That shows their consciousness. So one of them is wanting to
Mhm.
work with you, and the other one's like, oh, you don't need me. I'm going to stay asleep. And yeah, so I've been working with crystals for 8 or 9 years, I guess. I use them in my practice. I use them for myself and all different ways. And
So it's
so it's fun.
interesting that you say that crystals are a one dimensional, but yet they're also third dimensional because they're solid and they're here for us to
Yes.
be able to hold and to connect with. To me, that's amazing
So
because
it's a
one
first
and
dimensional
three.
consciousness.
So,
It's the consciousness piece. So not necessarily the physical structure.
okay.
Yeah.
Because
So like crystals are first dimensional consciousness. Second dimensional consciousness would be plants and some animals, and then third dimensional consciousness would be, some humans and animals, and then fourth would be sort of where some of us are, in terms of, um, when we're not in survival mode, kind of thing, that sort of thing. So, that's what I mean by that. There's different consciousness levels, there's different dimensional frequencies, and so basically they function at that first dimensional consciousness frequency in
and
terms of
so
their.
I'm assuming then that the consciousness um, created a relationship or a contract with certain crystals, the physical pieces that we bring out of the earth, and they've agreed on that spiritual plane that this energy, this is what you're going to be able to embody for me. And so when people find you, you will be like the vessel, the vehicle to be able to share this healing energy. This gotcha. That's
Mhm.
right. Just wanted
Yep.
to clarify because I'm learning a lot more these last few months or so, especially over the summer, especially about crystal healing and spirit healing from, working and talking with Jonathan Daly, who does the wearable crystal grids that he uses a
Mm,
lot of his crystal skulls on. And then, learning
beautiful.
what I learned from Betsy Palmer, and then meeting you and working with you and Michelle Marie. And there, so for me, it's a lot for me, for anybody to take in. So,
Mhm, mhm.
but if there's something that you can learn new every day or every couple of days or so, to me, that's a good day, you know, despite whatever might be going on in, around the world or in your personal life, having that beautiful knowledge, knowing that, hey, you're not alone, and sometimes all you have to do is just reach, and you have, that connection there with you. We did have a couple of interesting little comments. Leah must really love crystals because let's start with this first one. She says, I heard that in 150 years, we will be able to read them. Now, I'm not quite sure what she means by, I'm thinking she's like, we can actually just physically pick them up and without having any difficulty, just be able to, I don't know, she means reading blueprints or energetic blueprints. Because for me, it's just really energy and the spirit. So,
Yeah.
how do you perceive her question? And I think a lot of us, like you, can already do this.
Yeah, I think my perception was that it was about like having a conversation. Their story and info. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
So a lot of us can already do
Yeah.
this. A good example for me would be my my skull. Hi, Sherry.
Yes. One of her
Um,
little friends that she brought today. Oh, I love her.
so this is Bonita, not named by me. This was her name. So she yelled at me. I was at a crystal show in New York, and she yelled at me from across the room.
Hmm.
So I walked over to talk to her, and figured I needed to purchase. So I purchased her. We have a stow and go van, with the compartments underneath. So she was in a bag with other crystals, and we put her under the seat. And all of a sudden I hear from the back of the van, excuse me. And I was like, yes. And I talked to, she's a rose quartz.
Hmm.
I talked to, guides all the time. So I wasn't sure whether it was a guide or what I was,
Hmm.
hearing. And then she said, yes, yes, I'm Bonita. You just purchased me. I'm here to work with you for unconditional love for the
Mm.
collective. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And so I didn't name her, she named herself. And so she chats. It's a telepathic style communication because they're first dimensional, right? And so she is likely going to channel some stuff to me. That's what she's told me since. I have not had a chance to sit down and work with her all that much just yet, but she will likely be channeling some cool information about love and how we can all tap into that.
Yes.
So that's bonita.
And I love rose quartz, and I think this would be perfect. Just really quick, we did have a few people pop in. Lisa joined us.
Hey, Lisa.
I heard yesterday that crystals hold recordings.
That's what these do. Yep.
Especially the crystal skulls. Sherry H is in the house. Hello, Sherry. Thank you for joining us from work. And I did say hello to Leah. Yep, Leah. Astri.
Hi, Astri.
Hello. You're new to me, and I think I did see Astri in one of your lives with Michelle.
I think so.
Yes, that evening. So thank you for joining us. Nice to see you in my chat. And Teresa Levine just popped in.
Hey, Teresa.
And I do think I caught up with everybody. I want to make sure that I do my best not to leave anybody out. Yes. So this was a crystal that I didn't quite get to. These things jump so much.
They do.
So with your rose quartz, I wanted to bring this little guy in. It's a little
very nice
pearl drop. And this was gifted to me by a woman that I had taken my Reiki 1 and 2 and crystal healing classes with in Sedona way back in 2008. We no longer speak, but one of these days I'm going to find out which one it was. But she purchased this in Glastonbury for me. And she actually took it into one of the crop circles.
Beautiful.
But she couldn't remember which one. And so I've had this crystal since 2008. Well, a little bit in 8 after I got to, I think it was New Hampshire. She sent it to me. So I'm not sure which crop circle. I don't know if maybe your guides, Tanys, might be able to share at some point, either during the live or after backstage. Maybe give me some guidance so I know maybe what.
I'm seeing it, but I don't know how they identify them. They're just showing me one. So I'd have to look them up and then show you which one I see.
But hopefully I would like to find at some point what that crop circle, that energy is. So I want to share that with everybody, seeing that you brought your rose quartz. So
beautiful. Well, that kind of brings me to this one then that I brought. So if I don't know if this camera, oh yeah, there we go. See that one there?
This is, wait till everybody hears where this stone came from.
This is from right near Stonehenge. So it's not part of the henge. It's not those. It's right near there though. So it's been programmed with that super high vibe energy. And when I picked this crystal up at a crystal shop, I picked it up and I was taken there right away. Like I picked it up and I all of a sudden was like, oh, I'm being pulled to Stonehenge. I'm like, okay. And so, so it's got an amazing energy, of course. And for me, when I know when they have that really high vibe energy, because I touch it and I get like chills that go up and stuff. But this one, this in particular was like transported me, which was pretty cool. So of course I had to bring it home. Yes, exactly.
You had to heed the call. Yes, exactly. The ley lines. Exactly. Boy, I like Leela. I mean,
Leah. Yeah.
It's Leah. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was.
Well, it could be Leah. Right. It depends on where she's from and.
Okay. Well, if it's Leah, let us know. Make sure that we're pronouncing your name right, because I want to be respectful of all my chatters and my guests. And just really quick, let me see. She just mentioned really quick, crystals will also light our caverns and underwater homes in the future. Yes. Oh, so she's really tapping into some futuristic some stuff there. And Hypnicity also shared something earlier. I have a new Claire. I started sensing energies around some people. Oh, wonderful. Oh, wonderful.
Awesome.
And Nalani, that's her name. If you ever want to come on as a guest on my channel and talk about crystal energy, doesn't matter which level that you're at, anybody, just let me know. And I would love to have you on, because this is what I love to do. I love to talk about crystals. And a lot of people are asking, well, crystals only have one specific, purpose or one certain energy. And I've noticed that over the years, looking at different books and used to be working in a crystal shop, we would have 4 or 5 or so different authors putting out crystal books. And there would be certain core attributes to the crystals, but then other authors had their own experiences that they would put in there. So you have your basic, but yet because of our vibration, our frequency, we all resonate differently. So some crystals may feel that and say, well, okay, well, this is going to be an extra attribute for this author, or for this author to put in the book for those people who vibrate at that energy. So I like having multiple different books to get different experiences. So we're all very different. So
Absolutely. And our sensitivities are different to the crystals, right? So some of them,
mhm.
some people will really feel them because those would be clairsentient. Some people might have more of an experience like I had with the Stonehenge, where it just brings you and you get the visual. So they would be more, the clairvoyant persuasion. And some you might be more in terms of the clairaudient, right? With
Yep.
Bonita telling me her name and stuff. Everybody has their different strengths. And so it just depends.
And Melanie had the same experience. And I thought I had that crystal near me. I could have sworn I did. I like pulling it out and sharing every now and then. But I do have an amethyst point, and now it's being shy. I can't see it. But I was opening up the shop the one morning, and I was walking by my department, and the amethyst points had been there for a while. Not much had changed too much, and I just heard this, "Hey," and I was like, and then it wasn't like in my ear, hey, but it was
No, it's
that
in the head,
automatic,
right?
like, hey.
Yeah.
And I looked over, and one of the amethyst points, I could see like this little glitter with the rainbow, and my touch just focused right on that one. And I walked up to him and I picked him up and I said, "Okay, I heard you. You coming home with me?" Okay, walked him right back, behind and set them aside, and I
Yeah.
got him later that day. So
They
yes,
do
they
tend to
they
do
do
that.
talk. Yes, they do.
In fact, that happened to me with a pendulum as well, quite early. And I was probably maybe a level 2 Reiki. And I was in a crystal shop and I kept getting drawn back to this. I was more visual when I first started.
Mhm.
And so I kept getting drawn back to this. Like I would walk around the store and all of a sudden I'd find myself looking back at this one particular pendulum.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know what to do with a pendulum at that point. I wasn't
Mhm.
working with them in that way. And all of a sudden, I realized I was going home with it and didn't know. I mustn't have been a level 2. I must have been a level 1 because I actually didn't know at the time that it had a symbol on the top of it, which was the shokare. It's one of the
Oh, the
Reiki
choke.
symbols.
Yeah. Oh,
Shokare,
the
it's the power
chokure.
symbol,
Okay. Yes.
right? And I didn't know that that's what that was. I just knew I had to buy that one. And
Hmm.
now I use it, of course, for my Reiki
You
clients
know,
and
it's
stuff as
interesting.
well.
That's the only Reiki symbol I ever connected with energetically. The others, I really did not feel anything. But when I do that, I think it's because of the spiral. I'm very connected with spirals
Hmm.
and circles. That one there, even when I still do it, I still can feel that resonation with
Yeah.
that symbol. So I still will use that one when I feel like I need to. And I just wanted to touch really quick. Lisa said, I wish I'd experienced the chills. And the more you work with connecting with crystals, even not just crystals, going to like the riverbed, those are still stones. They have energy. I had a stone when I was younger. I lost it over the years during one of our moves. I'm heartbroken, but it was a happy stone. It said, I'm happy. So whenever I would hold that and run my fingers over the smooth surface because it had been in a creek, it would make me feel happy, and especially at a time when parents were, separated and really not quite getting along. It was just kind of a tumultuous time a bit. And I think that's why they wanted me to take and call me a happy stone to help me. And I guess maybe, you know, um, he was done. He needed to make somebody else happy. And that's
Hmm.
why I no longer have them. But Lisa, too, when it comes to chills, go ahead.
This one here is my happy stone.
Your calcite.
Yeah, orange calcite.
They are yummy.
They just
I
make
love the energy.
yeah, orange calcite.
So Lisa, sometimes we may not everybody may not experience chills. For you, pay attention when you pick up a stone or a crystal, even if it's out of a rock bed or straight from the earth. You may just pay attention. Sometimes our vibration is different. Some of us may feel whoo the chills, but for some of us we might feel a very deep warmth coming over us, or it might be just a very subtle hum. It's just holding on to that stone or crystal and asking them, how can I experience you vibrationally so that I can feel your presence, and sit in that and let them talk to you.
Yep,
So
definitely. Hi, Viviani.
Yes, I saw we got some more people coming in. Viviani, really quick, I don't know who this is.
Reminds me of Antakarana. Antakarana is it's one of the symbols that is seen. It's a symbol,
Okay.
spiritual one. And there's two different kinds. There's like the male and female Antakarana, and they tend to, people either really like them or really don't. They're a strong energy,
Okay.
and
Interesting.
so people really either really like them or they really have a thing. They're unfortunately they look a lot like the German symbol that nobody likes.
The swastika. Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I should say that.
I knew it looked familiar.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Looked very familiar. Okay. Yes.
That's what it looks like. And so, depending on who you are and what your background is and what your exposure's been, of course, how you're programmed, then yeah, exactly, Leah. Then it tends to invoke different feelings, right? So I think that particular symbol, the Anakarana, is actually lost some of its potency because it's been kind of, it's too close. Yeah.
And I can relate to the pentacle, because Christianity has force-fed everybody, and even people who do use it for, dark workings, magical workings. I'll be honest that way. People don't realize, but the pentacle, especially, it has to do with the elements of the earth and the spirit, and because of the major patriarchal religions saying no, that's associated with Satan and the dark arts. I really don't wear that like I used to, just because it does have that strong stigma to it. So it's okay for me to have it around in my home, but to be able to go out, I hold back. Some people may say, well, you're not brave enough, you're not strong enough. I'm like, no, I need to feel comfortable, and I don't need to prove to anybody what my reasons for or why not. But and I still see in some tarot decks and in some TV shows and things and stuff, they keep using, and what I really NCIS back in the early day, somebody had a pentacle during the episode, and one of the cast members, well, the characters, said, "Oh, that's part of a satanic cult, right?" And Abby was like, no. She goes, "That's not this," and she explained it briefly, and she says, "But this is." So there were some shows that were going out of their way to make sure that people were educated, but I understand the whole swastika compared to with the pentacle because of the stigma that goes behind it.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, so a pentacle, I have mine here. Are you okay if I bring that up?
Oh my goodness, yes. I've had episodes where we shared. Yep.
So this here is all about the 4 elements and spirit, right? Because your point is going up, right? This is all about love and light, and Wicca, which is all about nature, right? It's when we have it more like this, where you've got the point coming down, that has been used in some darker ceremonies, and that's where that is coming from. Okay, is because it's been used. Not, of course, this one here is pretty shiny because that's not how I use it, but I look at it and think that doesn't look very it doesn't look negative to me, but yeah, if the point is coming down typically. That is kind of a distinction. Usually it's a little bit more sort of off to the side if it's that kind of work, but that's the distinction, folks, okay?
Yep. Exactly. Hello, Linda. Thank you for joining us. Yep.
Hi,
Earth,
Linda.
air, fire, water, and spirit. Most
Mm-hmm.
definitely. And Leah says, do crystals align with angels?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Which is a perfect segue.
I was going to say.
This is what I was talking about with Tanys in the background, backstage. I like to start with something and then everything progresses organically. The energy follows. And this is, exactly what I was talking about. So with angels, the one crystal that really wanted to come today and be present was my celestite, and it also goes by Celestine. And this is a absolutely beautiful crystal. Oh, Tanys has hers there,
I have
and
mine too.
I have my books open here. But so one of my books is the Book of Stones. I absolutely love this book. And just really quick, what they do in the Book of Stones is they have several authors, and one of the authors they like to put down an element that they feel is associated. And I would think automatically, I would think water, but to them, and this is how their vibration. For me, it can be water, but for the author who wrote it, for them, they consider this air or wind.
Okay.
They're good for angelic communication,
Yep.
access to higher dimensions, serenity, environmental cleansing. And I took that information from this book, The Book of Stones. There is a third edition out now that at some point I have to get, but
Beautiful.
I absolutely love this book. It has 3 authors because one of the authors is okay with using the enhanced crystals with the metallic ions, like the piece that I'm wearing, like the aura quartz, the Tanzine aura quartz. And the other book for Celestite, anything really by Judy Hall, you can't go wrong.
Love Judy Hall stuffs. Yeah.
Judy Hall is just amazing. The Crystal Bible was the first book that I ever bought to learn about crystals. And with Judy, she puts down the zodiac. So if anybody's interested in the zodiac or planetary associations, it's the sign of Gemini, according to this author. And it also resonates with the planets Venus and Neptune. And peaceful. What I really loved was peaceful coexistence and conflict resolution with these stones. Mental clarity, muscle tension, and of course, because of the blue, you have the throat chakra connection with it as well. And it's a really good crystal for when speaking in front of people, public speaking. So if you have trouble speaking or have fear of speaking in large crowds or even in the front of a small group, if you can find maybe like a small piece of celestite to keep in your pocket, or if you find a beautiful pendant that you want to wear, you can do that as well. So that was a perfect segue. And is there anything you want to share about yours and what you've experienced with the celestite?
Well, I had an interesting thing happen with celestite one day. So it's a bit of a story. This was early in my journey, and I wasn't even sure about past lives and how all that stuff worked. But I sat down to meditate one day, and I had celestite in my left hand.
Debbie?
And hi Debbie, and I had dumeteorite in my right hand. So celestite is for angelic assistance, and dumeteorite is past lives. So I did not know that at the time. I just went, oh, these 2 are pretty. Let's take these. Of course, I was being told, right? It was time to step in. So I sat down to meditate. And of course, I was asking for angelic assistance because this is my receiving hand. I was asking to receive angelic assistance to release past lives. Didn't know that. Sat down, ended up having this whole video play in my head of a very upsetting past life where I was a skull remade, and it wasn't a nice one, but I needed to do some clearing work on it, which is of course why they come up. And so I ended up doing a whole bunch of clearing on that particular life, but I wouldn't have done that had I not had that celestite, right, and been guided to use that to release the past lives. So they're powerful. Crystals are powerful in how they help you to manage the energy and do your healing work. So that's when I knew.
And we had a couple of quick questions. Now, Nalani, spelling, please. I think she was referring to the Demeterite.
Demeterite, yeah.
Oh, Demeterite.
It
Do you have?
is.
Okay.
So if you go to my website, actually, I have a crystal directory on the website that you can access under resources. And Demeterite, it is DUMORTIERITE. That's Demeterite.
And all of Tanys's information is in the description box below. This lady just really, she's a powerhouse with everything that she knows. And hopefully that wasn't too loud. I live on a main drag, and some of these stub cars, they like having their little races. So, okay, so we have the spelling. So let me unstar that. And there was another. Leah says, "May we learn your signs." I'm a Sagittarius. That's my sun sign. I am a Pisces moon, and I am a Aries rising. And that's pretty much what I know for sure, because I don't read the charts. So I don't know what you wanted to share.
Yeah, I'm a Leo. I think I'm a Libra moon, but I'm not a big astrology girl, so I haven't.
Now that would be Michelle Marie.
Yeah. I just say, Michelle, what do I need to know?
Yes.
And she translates.
Yes. So we'll have to have Michelle join us on my channel for a night, and we'll learn about, I know Michelle's focus is on the Vedic. So it would be really interesting to get a perspective on the Vedic as well.
Absolutely. And there's crystals to go with each of the signs as well, right?
Yes.
In the Vedic as well as in the Western. So that would be a cool topic, I would say.
So I highlighted this. Isn't it really more about where you focus the energy? So I'm not sure where in the discussion you might be aware of, because I've been trying to save everybody's.
That was about
the job, guys. It's not easy.
It is. That was about the pentagram or the pentacle.
Yes, when it comes to an object. Yes,
yeah,
it's not
it
the
absolutely
object itself. But and really quick, what I would love to add to this is I found the book The Four Agreements for $5 at my local Five Below. And one of the things that the author mentioned is that it doesn't matter what object or anything, even people can do black magic, quote unquote, by just speaking poorly against somebody. So it's not an object, it's not but we ourselves and our words, when we say certain words to people, we put that kind of energy or intent or power into that person's energy field or into their mind. So a lot of times it has nothing to do with the actual object itself. It's what is in our hearts and what our intent is. So that was just something that popped right into my head. I'm like, okay, that's information I need to share. So I'm learning to trust when they're like, share this. So
absolutely.
I just feel like, I'm jumping all over the place, but really quick. Mary Meet Caitlin, thank you for joining us. I'm going to unstar comments here so I make sure. Now this is interesting. Leah wanted to know, was there a reason dragons hoarded gems and metals when there were creatures of nature? So I don't know if this is part of just the mythology that was written from the perspective of, the Christian monks, because a lot of our mythologies come from their writings. So I don't think that they were necessarily hoarding. What's your thoughts? You're my guest.
I don't know that they were hoarding them. I think they probably used them. Dragons are incredibly wise. And they were elementals, right? And so they used the elements of the earth in their own practices and how they worked with people and how they worked with other beings. And so I think, they probably collected them, much like we do now. But, that's different than a hoarding, So I actually work with dragons quite a bit too. I have my little guys.
Yeah, when you mentioned dragons, he was like, "You got to share me again. You got to share
Yeah.
me again." Because his head's getting a little big, but and the way he's looking, like yeah, right. But this is Marmaduke. When I
Hello,
saw
Marmaduke.
him and I bought him, he immediately, when like we said, "I am Bonita," he says, "I am Marmaduke." I'm like,
Beautiful.
okay. So everybody, again, this is Marmaduke. Kind of lost a claw a little bit, but
that's okay.
That's okay. I still love
this. Was recently given to me by 2 of my clients. They went together.
Oh wow! Look at those colors, blue too. Ooh,
yeah,
I like
blue
that.
and purple. Because I have a purple. This side is more purple. I have 4 dragons. 3 of them I work with pretty regularly. This is in the 5th dimension, not the physical dimension. One of them is Megan. Megan is purple, very dark eggplant purple.
Ooh, I like eggplant.
Much like, even a bit darker than this one.
You're so excited, just jumped right out of your hand.
Jumped right out of my hand.
You don't have to jump. We're here.
Yep.
Oh,
and then
Lena, I'm glad you feel home here. She's letting us know that she feels at home here, and that's
beautiful.
my intent. I like people in my, in my chats to feel safe space where we can come and share and not be, judged or this is a nice sharing of ideas and wisdom and knowledge.
And that looks a lot like my, although it's a little more red.
Ooh,
I have a red one.
That's beautiful.
Named Templeton.
I love that name, Templeton.
And then I have a little baby. He's probably about this big now, maybe a little bigger. And his name is Pepper because his skin is, those mixed peppers where they have like green and red and yellow.
Yes.
And all in one pepper. That's kind of what he looks like. And so we named him Pepper.
Nice.
And then I have a solar angel that I haven't worked with all that long. So
very nice. Mm-hmm. And I just saw this. I'm a Leo.
And a very strong
I've been to Salem when I lived in Massachusetts. Salem was only about half-hour drive from me. And again, interesting story how my chatters are bringing this up. That when I went there for the first time, I went to the cemetery because they have a memorial where they created for those who were killed during the trials, the Salem witch trials.
Mm-hmm.
They were all.
I was one.
Yeah. So.
Well, actually, I don't know if it was there. Salem, but I was in the trials.
This was Salem, and I went to because there's a cemetery right next to it, and I'm standing at the entrance, and for some reason now I don't physically see a spirit or anything. If someone wants to make themselves known, I see it in my mind. And for some reason I was like, okay, I'm seeing a woman with with the white bonnet on, the head with the simple dress and with blonde hair. And I remember hearing, I'm Sarah. And of course me, I'm still young, I'm in my 30s, so I'm kind of like, okay, is this my imagination, am I playing into the or whatever. So I just decided to go over to the steps because they made seats. So you step up, and the stone seats have everyone's names etched into them that were killed. And wouldn't you know it, out of all those seats, there was a girl's name that was Sarah. Mm-hmm. So she, for some reason, she was still there, and she let me know that she was there, and that was it. She just wanted me to know that I'm Sarah. And so yeah, that can be it's very commercialized, but at the same time, if you can push the commerciality away, mm-hmm. and you really feel the energy, it's not really as dark as like a lot of the shows and stuff try to make it out to be. I really feel like a lot of the people that were there that did die, they were in many ways connected to the land, and they want people to really realize that this land is powerful, it is beautiful, and try not to hold that energy of their suffering in there, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, so when you go there, you learn about Wicca and paganism and magic and stuff, but at the same time, it's almost like it's being the enlightenment part of it is being held down by everybody who wants to, yes, we need to remember the past, but to a certain point. So for there, it's still a bit of a struggle energetic wise.
So I think also remembering that if these people were Wiccan, you know, they would have understood the fact that we don't really die, we just transition. And so the heaviness of it, of course, would be around the manner of death, which was, of course, not very nice. But I think that we need to remember that, which is something that's coming forward. So
I don't know if I think Sarah's last name was maybe Goodman. I can't remember. It's been many years, but I don't know if it was Osborne. It doesn't ring a bell. But like I said, I haven't lived there since 2000. So but I do remember very clearly. I remember it being Sarah. So here, Tanys, are your abilities ancestral, or are you the only person in your family who's so gifted? Wonderful questions. Thank you, everybody.
Well, and thank you. I would say it's ancestral. I would say, though, that it comes from, I think I have some on both sides, but primarily from my father's side. And he and his father were not involved in any sort of spiritual stuff. They'd kind of repressed it all, which created its own issues, right? Because when we sort of repress it and we don't, then we end up with things like anxiety and ADHD, and we don't manage our energy in the way that is best.
Or bipolar, like my mom.
And so that is kind of how it manifests when we're not aware. So basically, my son is also really gifted. And we had the reason I say it's ancestral is because when we looked back, my cousin is as well. And so she's been delving into some of our lineage, and our grandmother, 2 generations before her, was actually some famous witch in England. So I really have a Celtic, that's why the Celtic shamanic high priestess thing appealed to me, because it was very much that sort of Celtic-y background.
That's why I connect a lot too with Tanys, because we were talking backstage with Michelle the other night, and everything I was bringing up, she's like, and this and that, and I'm like, oh my God. I did ask for the right teachers to be brought to me within the last year, and so now people are coming into my circle, and I'm learning a lot. Really.
We have one of my crystal students with us, actually. Viviani. She made a comment earlier about that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Viviani. I'm sorry I missed that comment. And I know Emerald Buddha was okay. It's not letting me go up that far again on my StreamYard. So Viviani, that is awesome.
Yeah, let me see if I can see.
Buddha.
What did she say? I think she said she had taken a crystal class with me.
That is wonderful. Yes,
yeah, Viviani she says, I took a class about crystals with Tanys, and it was great.
So and I say everybody that comes into our chats have we all have abilities, but I think a lot of people who are drawn to our chats and to our shows, they kind of get guided intuitively and spiritually. Like with Viviani, when she said she took the crystal class, I'm feeling like, okay, that's going to be something strong, part of her practice. Whereas you were mentioning earlier, I know maybe you weren't mentioning, because we haven't talked about your connection to the ET family and and so you have classes too that you teach about them as well. And I know some people are very strong star seeds who want to learn more. And so did you want to introduce? Okay, and perfect segue for the little opalite guy.
So I found this at a little crystal show. And this is my little opalite Pleiadian.
I was wondering if that's who. I was sure Pleiadian or Arcturian, because I know they both have the blue.
Okay. Yeah, some Syrians do too. So blue is kind of like it depends on when you're looking at them. How we have different shades of skin. Well, so do they. So it varies depending on what region they're from and stuff like that. So this is my little Pleiadian. I'm a galactic ambassador. So I work with in the other dimensions. I work in this one too, but I work with the Galactic Federation. So I do work with Commander Ashtar, and I have a bunch of guides that are galactic guides. So they are, I have a Pleiadian, two Pleiadians named Meek and Oni, and I have an Octurian who helps me with the etheric surgery stuff that I do. His name is Ragus. So yeah, I work with a bunch of them. Those are just like the three that are always there. The others come and go, and yeah.
Okay. And I just wanted to just acknowledge, politely that Leah had shared with us that Leo was peridot and Sag is turquoise, and I've heard that in some circles. And Caitlin has done different research, and I just want to reinstate that we all have different accesses to different people's knowledge and what we connect energetically to stones and crystals. So I think for me, the more crystals associated with my sign, the merrier, because there are some that say, well, like one book I read said sujolite, and I have a piece and I like it, but I really don't resonate with it. With the blue zircon, not so much, but the turquoise, yes, I love turquoise. And also some azurite and lapis has also been associated with Sag. So I really think it's about how we connect to the crystals, ourselves. So
yeah, because peridot actually,
okay. Just want to.
For me, peridot is more of an August, and I'm actually a July. I'm the end of July.
Interesting. Yeah,
so for me, I'm more drawn to the reds, the rubies and stuff like that. So that tends to be certainly what I should work with to be grounded.
Oh, Leah, we are all learning, and
Absolutely.
to be quite honest, that's why I love having a couple different books and being able to have open and honest conversations, sharing our experiences. Because another example, when I worked at Crystal Magic, we had a customer come in, and this is when Moldavite was first hitting the market, and she loved the rain, and she was like, "Ooh, I want to try the rain," and she put it on, and after a few minutes she was like, oh my goodness. And this is not to scare anybody or to put fear, but for her, the stone of being the high vibration it was too strong for her vibration, so she had to take it off, and she had to sit down for a few minutes and have some water. So each of us will resonate differently. Now with her, the moldavite was too strong. With me, when I wear it, it's more like a subtle energy. I don't have the experiences that she had. So we are really different. It's the books and our teachers, they're all basically like a map. It's not a map. Well, it could be kind of a map of like a guidebook. They give us ideas of where things can go on the body or where certain energies might resonate more. But in the end, you are yourself unique. Your clients or whoever you work on are going to be unique. So if you're drawn to put a stone that says, well, that's more yellow chakra, but you're feeling like, no, maybe more navel or maybe up to the throat or higher above, then listen to that intuition. Those are your guides, and the crystal itself, the energy directing you and telling you where to go. So
absolutely, yeah. And the moldavite, I think that I've heard, this has not been my experience necessarily. I do find moldavite very, for me, I like it, but I think that it is a galactic crystal, so it has a different frequency than a lot of the ones that originate here. And so there may be some people that are not really all that connected galactically, and they don't resonate with that one. And so that may be the case with that person. And the other thing is that when we do have a very high vibration crystal, we can physically react to it if it's not in small doses. I mean, that is what they do, right? So she likely would have been okay with it maybe if she'd gotten used to it, maybe not, because each person is themselves. But I know I was gifted, and I was looking for it before the show and I couldn't find it, but I was gifted a very small Giza crystal. It's about this big. And it was charged in the Giza pyramids. at
Wow.
Lionsgate. At Lionsgate. Okay. So when my
Oh,
mentor gave me
Lionsgate.
this,
Oh my goodness.
he gave it to me and he said, okay, so I know you love crystals and you're all excited. Small doses, please. I said, oh, okay. I go home and I put it in my hand while I'm watching TV. And 10 minutes later, I take it out of my hand. I'm like, oh. And it felt as though you know, that after effect that you have when
Yeah,
you're
you
like
still feel
holding
like
a
it is
drill.
there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had that in my hand for like an hour
Really? Yeah.
because it was such a high vibration. So I still work with that. I just do it in smaller doses. I'm okay with it now, but at the time I needed it in smaller doses after that until I could work up to
That
it.
sounds incredible. And leading in, well, before we get into that other special crystal you showed me that I
Mhm.
never heard of, these are
Mhm.
really quick ones. So, can you combine crystals and Reiki for healing osteoporosis? Along
Yes.
with it, yes.
Reiki and crystals is a beautiful combination.
Mm-hmm.
I teach a class in that actually because I was taught about you can do mini grids around the body, depending on what the person is dealing with. And so that's kind of how I tend to work, or I'm told what to put where. Um, so absolutely, you can combine them. And really, what Reiki does is it wakes them up.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have a crystal that I have that has been asleep or not been used for a while, I will often use the shokore. We mentioned it earlier, and I will have the intention of clearing it first, and then I will have the intention of charging it, and I'll just do the shokore again. And really, that just wakes them up and allows us to use them. So I use crystals and Reiki together all the time for all kinds of healing. So, uh,
Very
long
nice.
answer for a yes.
One of the things that, because my Reiki teacher, she ended up passing. I can't remember how many years. I mean, we've been here for almost 14 years. Um, but her and her husband were well known for their healing center in Sedona called Peace Place. It was Laurel Shakti Gaya and her husband Michael Beard that ran it, and she ended up having a stroke, and we lost her. I think it's almost,
Mm,
oh my goodness, I think about 8 years or so. Um, and one of her, because somebody in class said, "Well, how do you really know if the crystals are working?" And she was like, "Well, if you go in thinking that they're not, or there isn't going to be any healing, then you're already setting yourself up and you're telling your energy and your guides that you don't believe in what they could possibly offer you, the healing that they can give you." And one of her favorite sayings was when we would work on, fellow students or our own clients, is that the deeper the breathing, the deeper the healing. So making sure that when you are, even if you're at home and you're holding your own crystal, just breathing in very deeply, and remember to blow it out or however you want to release it, and do that as you're working, and to just have the faith that that crystal is there connecting with you, your higher power, your guides, and that healing is taking place.
mhm.
So
Well, it's just like intention, right? The more we have the intention they're going to work, the more they're going to work.
I
So
understand about the shots, but we just, like I said earlier, we just want to make sure that people understand that Western medicine is very important.
it
And
is.
what I do like is that there are more hospitals now opening up to allowing people to come in that are Reiki practitioners that can go around and asking people if they would like to, have any Reiki energy done. So the movement has started. It's very small, but some doctors are now being more open minded where they're realizing, listen, my patients are getting better quicker. They're probably figuring it's, has to do with more with intention, like mind over matter, and not actually maybe the energy, but they are welcoming people more into, healers into the hospital, and offering that if anybody would like that modality to go along. And one of the most profound stories that I heard about with hospitals and with Reiki, and if Miss Taro D is still here, I think she would really love to hear about this, is that Laurel had said that a friend of hers was going through chemo treatments. She had gotten diagnosed with cancer, and um, her friend would go in and say, would you let me do Reiki to the chemo bag before they give it to you? Because even, with the chemo being how hard it is on our bodies, the energy of the Reiki can help. um, YouTube entertainment purposes only, but the Reiki energy can help raise the vibration of that chemo so that it doesn't take such a drastic toll um, on that individual's body. And again, of course, everybody's going to be different. But the story, that she shared was that her friend had had less side effects, less nausea, less vomiting, and her sessions, and the doctors were kind of like, yeah, but go ahead and do it, if you think that this is going to help. And even their eyes started opening up a little bit because they could see how her reaction was afterwards. And so, Reiki, whether it's Reiki or just if you just want to call it, you know, energy work, universal, whatever name you put it, it's that loving energy and it can't hurt anybody. That's what Laurel always said.
Yeah.
Reiki is love healing energy because people are afraid, well, what if I hurt somebody?
Yeah, you can't.
And
It's
and
love.
when it's Reiki, when you're calling it Reiki or universal energy, love energy, and you're putting that word love, that intention into it, you cannot harm anybody. Sometimes after a Reiki treatment, you may feel like because we always recommend lots of water. You always should be hydrating, hydrating, hydrating.
Absolutely.
But sometimes our bodies process the energy a different way, and some people might not feel good for a couple of days, and some people might feel fine. But it's just knowing that you are releasing a lot of those energetic patterns, toxins in your blood, in your body, and yeah, at some point when we get on our feet, I really would like to try to open another practice again at some point. And I didn't mean to kind of go on that tangent, so
That's okay. I actually
I
have
apologize.
a little bit of info to add to that.
Awesome.
So they've actually done, so this will be your research, some of your research, Lisa. They have actually done some studies in hospitals in the States where they've done double-blind studies. They've had 3 groups of post-operative patients. And so they were studying the recovery rate time. And so they had one group that didn't have any Reiki. They had another group that people just went in and pretended to do Reiki. They weren't really. Keep in mind, we all run Reiki, but they weren't practitioners, basically. But we all run Reiki,
Mhm.
right? We all can
Yep,
do
we all
Reiki.
have. Yep, just rubbing your hands together and feeling that beautiful energy between. Yep,
Yeah. But
it's
I
right
think these
there.
people went in with the intention that they weren't giving it, which, of course, we're going to do it the healing touch anyway. And then another set that had Reiki treatments every day. And so what they found was that thank you. What they found was that the group without any was like your national standard in terms of the rate.
Mhm.
The group that had the like pretender Reiki was 12% higher, right? Because we do have some. And there's a placebo effect. There's always that when you have those things. And then for the Reiki group, they were 32% faster recovery rate. And so that's awesome. So they have started doing those kinds of things. I'm so sorry to hear, Aurora. We're sending you lots of love.
No.
Yeah. So they have started doing that kind of thing. I believe that was with William Lee Rand.
He's the
With
head.
the International Reiki Center.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So
Yeah,
that's just a little bit of hospital.
when I was learning Reiki that summer or that coming year, oh, I wish I had had the money because at that time I was learning the Reiki. I was connecting with my past life with Avalon.
Mm.
And that next issue of Reiki magazine had a picture of the tour on it, and William Rand was taking a group of people to do their Reiki's 3 and 4, their master, and they were going to be attuned inside Stonehenge. And
I've
it just
seen that.
broke my heart that I could not go.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it.
He does it
So,
fairly regularly, I think. There's certainly something.
we'll
I've
see.
seen it more than once, so we
Yeah,
may get another chance at that. So
maybe. Well, he's getting up there too in years, so
it's
hopefully,
true.
somebody, whether when he's able to do it or not, that it'll be handed down and they can keep that tradition, because that would be just incredible.
Yeah.
We're at 5:01. Are you still okay to share your other stone that we were
Yeah,
talking about
sure.
earlier? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not in a hurry.
Okay.
So the other one that I got, I found this one in a crystal shop, and it looks like this. Let's see if my camera will. There. So it's got like a little fossil in it. This one is special because it's from the catacombs under the Vatican. It's
Yep.
called the Vatican stone.
You heard that right. The Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So it has a mixed energy, high vibration because it's Vatican, right? And there's a lot of energy work that happens there, but it is from the catacombs. So it does have that interesting flair to the energy. A slight sadness
Oh
with
yeah,
the
everything
high
that goes on there.
vibration.
Yeah.
Yeah, slight sadness with the high vibration. So interesting stone. So had to purchase because it was interesting.
I would imagine that any place that has, and I'm not knocking anybody's, religion or spirituality, but when you have places where certain beliefs and those energies are being sent out, whether it's a high vibration for people who are truly praying for healing and raising the vibration, yes, but where a lot of dark things have happened, I for me, I would think that whatever on Mother Earth, that is the stones, the rocks, everything that's under that ground, would have to really work extra hard to keep that energy balanced. And for me, with that stone, I can see the energies of the Mother Earth trying to balance a lot of that darkness or a lot of that heavy masculine energy, and try to keep things more into balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Definitely. So Leah's talking about, yes, definitely has some interesting vibes for sure. Hypnicity. Leah's talking about my palm.
also,
So
she's a
yeah,
palm reader. That's why I was like, oh,
apparently.
interesting.
So I do have strange palms. I have a double simian line on my palms. For those of you that know palm reading, um, and so that's kind of it's a weird thing. So what that means is
Hmm.
the two lines that are supposed to go across, they're
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to meet, but mine meet in the center and they go straight across. So that's a
Oh, how
simian line.
interesting.
And I actually have it on both. And that's unusual. So
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know anything about palmistry. It's fascinating how
it
something
is.
people,
Mm-hmm.
Leah says I have one on her left.
Hmm.
And Boo, I'm sure she means both. I like Boo because that's my kitty cat's nickname, one of them.
Nice.
So I'd watch how I say Boo, or he's going to be like, did you call my name? Scratch, scratch. So yeah, there's a lot of, yeah,
Definitely.
making sure that I did not miss anything else. Okay. Is there anything else? Oh, just really quick. There's a couple that are like, yummy. Don't forget me. All right. So you feel that energy.
You
Okay, so
do.
everybody has seen my golden healer.
It's
This
beautiful.
was a gift to me from JJ Tuta Speaks. Um, she had done a backstage reading for me one day, and she had pulled a card of this man. She goes, "Well, this is like a spirit guide," and he had this golden flame in his hand. And she goes, "Wow!" She goes, "I just pulled this card for you," and she says, "And I have a crystal that looks like this." She grabbed it and she showed it to me. She goes,
It's
"This is
beautiful.
yours," and I went, I was just like, wait a minute, are you serious? Because let's face it, crystals are very expensive these days. They're a lot higher than when I worked at. And when she said she was going to gift this to me, I was like, are you kidding? I could not imagine from the video actually having it in my hand and looking at it in the light. and see just these beautiful, I mean, and there's this little notch that you can see right in there that goes in.
Beautiful.
And when I hold this,
Perfect.
it fits right perfectly into my hand. Just
Mhm.
like in the card, he was holding the flame in his hand. And
Yeah.
talk about getting messages. I've never really picked up a crystal and felt like I had to pick up a pen and do automatic writing. This one I did. So you
Beautiful.
know, stays with me
Mhm.
all the time. And another stone that was recommended when I was learning Reiki is apophyllite. And I heard that
Mm.
this is kind of like known as the Reiki crystal
Mhm.
because of apophyllite's high vibration healing energy. It's supposed to help practitioners um, amplify, the energy. So they said the apophyllite's good to either be wearing or to have under the table or somewhere near, the person that, you're doing Reiki on. But I
Absolutely.
just love how he just sparkles. And my last, well, can I share two more?
Yeah, of course.
Excuse me. So
It's
this
your
one,
show. You get to
well,
do what you want.
I know, but I like making sure that I don't talk over my guests. I want to make sure
It's
that
all
my
good.
guests. So I'm trying to remember where I got this. This was in Arizona. Um, oh, it was of course at the store I worked with.
No, we're
And we
not going to
got,
get sick of you, Leah. It's all
oh
good.
no,
That's what we're
no,
here for, is
because
to answer
keep
questions.
asking questions because I learned things.
We all
Like I
do.
didn't know there was a Vatican stone. I didn't, I've
Yeah.
learned a lot from the show today. So this here, I don't know if y'all can see her, but this is my Hawaiian goddess.
Mm.
This is petrified wood, and we got a slab, some slabs in from when Larry went to his crystal handler, and I could just automatically, I see her, I see the layer around her head, the crown, her hair there, and there's her arms. Her arms are the water. So this is the water sister, or or water spirit from um, Hawaii. And I know it's kind of hard to see with the glare, but for
It's
me,
got a lot of Pele energy. Goddess Pele.
and for me with the
Fire.
water, yeah.
Yeah.
So with it being all water, all I can see is the waves coming up, because it's like her sister tries to put out her fire, but the sister wants to keep create. So is that beautiful? And for me with the water, I had to get
It's
that.
lovely.
For me, it's
Lovely.
a spirit guide that's in that.
Yeah.
um and of course, now let me ask you, Tanys, now that I have you on my
Mm.
channel,
Mm.
you know how people speak of, well, I have a spirit totem animal. I
Mhm.
have this, plants there's like a totem plant in mine. Um, what about crystals? Because I feel that the opals are my spirit totems
Absolutely.
out
I
of the
mean,
crystal, family, and I
I think
wanted to
for
share
me it's
that.
specific ones that do that. So kind of like Bonita, you know. But even
Kind of
ones
hard to
like
see.
this one here is one of my, I would say this
I
is a
mean,
spirit.
the fire.
I would say this is
That's
one of my spirit
weird.
animals,
Is that
spirit
another
guides.
calcite?
This is a green calcite. This is what I lovingly call my dragon calcite,
Mm-hmm. I can
because
see
he's
it.
got like a it's shaped like a dragon head. Whenever I'm feeling ick for whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I end up, watching TV with this on my chest,
Mm-hmm.
and it just totally transforms. So it's very much a healer crystal. It's and it would be, I would consider this one of my spirit guides for sure, and of course Bonita.
Yes.
So,
And
mhm.
calcite, I always recommend calcite to people, any color when if there's like really strong traumatic energy that needs to be healed. There are some stones that are healing that are very strong, high vibration, and there's some that are very soft and
Yeah,
subtle and very gentle to kind of start moving in and start kind of breaking it up. And for me, those are the calcites, the
yeah.
pink Melgano, because of course rose quartz, but like the pink Melgano calcite, the soft
Blue is good.
green, the
Blue is good
blue,
for that
and the
too.
yellow. I mean, all that is very
The orange.
soft, very gentle, and
Yeah.
even the feel has like a slightly waxy kind of like, it just
Mhm.
feels so yummy. That's the word I keep using. Calcite for me feels
It's yummy.
very yummy, both, you know, tactily and energetically. And what I love too, I think about the opal is that this is a fire opal, so you have the fire. I'm a Sagittarius,
Mm,
and that Aries rising, but to get a lot of that, it contains water droplets in it. So there's the fire and the water, my two, you know, my two
beautiful.
elements in my signs. So, and I wasn't allowed to wear or have any of this because my mom was dead set against her superstition of if opal isn't your
Your
birthstone,
birthstone.
it's going to be bad luck,
Yeah.
which is bogus. But you know, she was a firm believer. And the last crystal, hello Fatima,
Hi, Fatima.
thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. I wanted to share was my first real crystal, and this was from my auntie Donna. She's more my cousin, but I still call her my auntie. And before I left for Arizona, because she died not long after I left, um, she says, "Kiddo, you love crystals and stones." She goes, "Here," she goes, "have this, my gift to you. I think you would like this." And so this is always, I keep this nearby now. Whenever I read or do my cards, I make sure that I have my auntie Donna with me. So that was my first real, you know, true crystal.
This one has that kind of thing for me. So my Reiki master gave me this,
Oh, how
and it's a
beautiful.
beautiful purple fluorite. And I just love the V formation on it.
Hmm. I
Um,
think they're called chevrons, I think, because I have a piece of fluorite that was called chevron because of the V shape in it. It could be different from maybe,
maybe. I don't know. Chevron has always been amethyst for me, but possibly. But this one is definitely fluorite. So,
oh, let me come back really quick. I want to show you one of my fluorites.
well, while she's doing that, I'm going to show you guys this one as well. This is a polychrome jasper,
Oh, I love that.
and he's all about creative. And so it's a flame. So flame is all about creation, is inspiration. So when I'm feeling like I need some inspiration, I hang on to this guy because he helps to inspire me to do creative things like write, and I use a lot of Canva and that sort of thing. So that's my polychrome jasper flame. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this one, but
Oh,
bismuth is a
mhm.
man-made crystal, very galactic in its feel. So I'm quite partial to that one as well, to my bismuth. Mhm.
And just really quick, I saw Aurora mention she just got calcite. Doesn't matter, orange, the energy, just let the energy just go wherever it needs to go. Um, let's see, this is like nature's fireworks. Ooh, and I do not. It's up to you if you want to share, Caitlin. Let's see, total. Yes, we do. Yes, I would love to have, of course, Tanys is always welcome back. I do want to bring Jonathan on. I know if many of you know who Manasa is, but Manasa loves crystals, and she did a crystal show with me back in February. So the more people that have a love of crystals, whether they're a crystal healer, they have, a lot of knowledge, or if they're just starting out, doesn't matter. Come on, and we'll all learn together because we end up
Absolutely.
learning things from each other that
And
we
I
may not
just
necessarily know.
I do a crystal of the week every week. I do like a little short video. So if you check out my channel, you'll see them on there every week. I just
And
put one
this
up
week is
yesterday.
rhyolite.
It is. Do I
It
have them here
is
still? Yes, I do. This is rhyolite. This was our crystal of the week this week.
nice, very
Mhm.
earthy heartstone. And this is my
Ooh,
fluorite, and it was called a chevron. And I wire. This was what I knew how to wire wrap. I was, decent at it. And as you can see, that beautiful. Yeah, when they said, Heather, Larry just dropped off, the slats, and I came in the back, and they're like, wait till you see this one, and they pulled it out, and it was like,
beautiful. Beautiful.
I was just like, oh, are you kidding me? So this guy's heavy, so I wear it, every now and then. It's got to be a real special occasion, but yeah, that is one of my most treasured pieces is that one right there.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful. Mhm.
All
I
right.
am the year of the pig.
Oh,
If
I think
that's
I'm the dog. I think that's what mine is. So we are at 5:15. Did you feel like pulling cards for the collective as a send off?
sure.
Unless there was any other crystals you wanted to share, or if anybody, while we're doing this, if anyone has any last minute ideas or questions for Tanys or I,
Mhm.
please let us know. And
And
I'm
I
so
do.
excited. I got my Mystic Palette Tarot in today from
Ooh, exciting.
Marchetti. So afterwards, I'm going to have to go
Beautiful.
through it and look at all the at the cards. But I do have a deck of my crystal cards with me. I have my shaman screen, and I have another. So however many cards you want to pull,
Sure.
yeah, it's kind of like a collective for the week, maybe, or just
Hmm.
see where it goes. And Caitlin says pig birthstones are ruby and hematite. And dog birthstones are diamond and smoky quartz. Ooh, I like smoky quartz.
Yeah, the ruby is something that I resonate. Hematite I find a bit heavy myself, so I don't actually resonate with that one all that well. So that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier, right? About it having to be something that you really resonate with, right? Auralite
Oh,
23. We have not talked about Auralite 23.
what
What
is
would you like to
oh?
share about that? Because I don't know a lot about it.
I don't know what Aura Light 23 is.
I feel like it's one of the ones that's coded.
Like the Angel Aura quartz. Let me
And
see.
maybe it's quoted in like a whole bunch of
I
different.
have crystals all over the place.
I think my life path is an 8.
Yeah, I don't have mine nearby. That's too bad.
Let's see. What have we got here?
Okay. Well, maybe we'll do a show on the Aura quartz then. That would be fun.
All right. We are definitely doing that.
Nice. And
All right. So what I've got. Would you like me to go first, Heather? Is that okay?
go right ahead. Would you like me to put on the bigger screen for you to share your cards?
Sure. Whatever you like. Whatever you think will work best.
I probably should have done that for our crystals. Duh.
That's okay. That's all right. All I know is I got up to 23 different things in it, more than a Super 7, and it's celestial.
I have
cool.
not heard of that.
I have not, but it comes from Canada. I should know about this. I better do some research.
Or are you in Canada? So you're Canadian. You're in Canada.
Yeah.
I can't talk.
Yeah, I'm from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada.
Ottawa. Okay.
That's where I am right now. Mm-hmm.
You're not too far from me.
No.
I'm in Niagara Falls, so yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so we have Archangel Michael is with you now. Even though you can't see it, he's actively working on the situation. He's here and helping. And prayer can really move mountains. Reach out to the divine with your heart's concerns and watch miracles unfold. Okay, so there's a couple of things that have been happening. Some of you have been having some interesting conversations with people that are perhaps they probably were a little bit contentious, is what I'm hearing. You are menders, so you will be able to mend this bridge if you see both sides of the situation. Okay, don't settle for less though. So if that doesn't work, don't settle for less. You are a child of the divine. You deserve to have your dreams come true. So don't give up. So this is for some of you, the collective. It's going to be about this relationship, and it doesn't feel like a romantic one for me. This feels like it's like a family thing that needs to be sorted out. We're in a time of transmutation, transformation. We've got a ton of butterflies here. And so don't settle for less during this transformation, right? Get really clear on what it is that you want to bring in. Increase your knowledge if you need to about how you want to do that. So take a course, pick a book, find a mentor, to teach you what your soul longs to know. Okay. And I could do a shameless plug here, but
go ahead.
We did just post all the September classes for the Twillow Lifestyle Academy as well.
Yep. There you go.
You can check that out on twillowlifestyle.ca.
You heard it first here, folks.
Communicate freely with love. So there's a heart up here, and communicate from the depths of your being. So that's how you're going to express exactly what you need, what you want in your life, right? So getting that deeper knowledge about being really crystal clear about what it is that you want to manifest, okay? Because it is a time to manifest. You are in the process of doing this, so take action towards manifesting your dreams, okay? Because they are about to come true. You are ready for more. So this says your career is growing and blossoming. Now it's time to make the changes you've been contemplating. So for those of you that have been thinking about change, now is the time. There's so many things changing right now. Okay. So, but if that's part of your dreams, you do need to take the action. You do need to learn. If it's something that you're going through, you're ready for more. All right. Ultimately, we want to aim for being in flow. So this is definitely something we want to get into, and that's just letting go. So we don't have control over everything. Control is a bit of an illusion. So the more we can let go and flow, the happier and more peaceful we shall be. Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Leah, just so you know, this is a collective. So take this message as your message. This is for all of us from Source. Yeah. Wow.
We have a variety of different things going on. Like there's like there's like 3 separate messages coming in, 3 separate scenarios in all of that. So you're going to get probably about a third of that for each of you is going to make sense. The other 2/3 is going to be something that you'll just release. Okay. But because there's a lot happening at the moment is what I'm feeling.
So actually I should have had the screen like this. This is perfect. Yeah. So when Tanys was talking about family or where your place is, or where how you're orbiting your circle, between community, family life, within yourself. I got be mindful. There's that group think. So making sure that you are staying sure that what you are feeling, that what you are thinking are your own thoughts, are your own feelings, and not being manipulated or coerced into something that's not your true authentic self. For the crystal card, I got Unikite. Live in the present moment. Live from your heart. Live from your heart space. And there's a beautiful piece of Unikite. And I love this next card. I pulled from the Animal Oracle for Colette Baron Reed, and I got Lion Spirit. And perfect too. I have a Leo here with me. Be generous of spirit. And I'm feeling like a lot of this is just be generous of spirit, to others. But first, you got to make sure that you're doing that for yourself. Being sure that you are taking plenty of time to take care of yourself. Being generous, you give so much of yourself to others. Make sure you're giving yourself that back too. Making sure that, oh yeah, I'll make time for you. I can fit in a few minutes. Well, make sure you find time to fit moments in a day and time for yourself as well. But I just love that Leo. We were just talking about that Leo energy, and these just flowed right out. And you're talking about love. I got the Wild Rose Fairy. Make sure to love. And with me, this feels a lot like self-love because of the pinks and the magentas. For me, those are very much like self-love flowers and colors. So making sure that being generous of spirit, you're loving yourself, you're being present in your heart. And of course, you mentioned manifesting. I got water spirit. I got the otter. There's the water, letting it go with the flow, allowing those streams to flow through you, those ideas, those messages, manifesting your dream. And I love otters. They are just so adorable.
They are. Have you seen the otters on YouTube?
I was just going to say on Instagram, I follow someone called Cartel the Otter. He is absolutely, he was a baby and this couple found him and they raised him, and he is the most, and his name is Cartel. I mean, Cartel. He is so adorable. But otters are also
So cute.
considered a mothering, very feminine energy animal as well. And they have the gifts of, nurturing. You're connecting with your intuition, with the water. They're both land and water. So making sure that, we're grounded, but at the same time, using that intuition, that your connection to spirit to help you manifest those dreams. And you were saying you had a card for transmutation. I got
Mhm.
Pegasus, I got transcending. So making
Beautiful.
sure that you are embracing everything that you are learning about yourself, embracing everything that you know is true, that's love, that's centered in light, and allowing that to lift you up. And this week, despite all because I know people are talking about retrogrades, and yes, I had issues really big time yesterday and Sunday with retrograde issues, but making sure that we don't get into that fear of, oh, this week can't be any good because we have all these planets in retrograde. No, just manifest a positive attitude for the week. Try to rise above all of that negative self talk from either yourself, people around you, the news, TV, shut it off, the community. Just making sure that you take that time for yourself and that you love yourself. That's really what's
Absolutely.
important. Be generous with that spirit to yourself. You give so much to others. Make sure that you give yourself that as well.
Absolutely.
So those are my cards. And Tanys, thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was such a pleasure and a joy to have you here today.
Such an
Um,
honor.
and
You have
I,
wonderful chatters too.
yes, that's what I love about my
Yeah.
my lives is that when people come in, they're respectful. We share our different ideas, we share knowledge, and it's a safe space
Hmm.
because I know how important having a safe space is. And
Absolutely.
so all of you are wonderful. And anybody watching this back on replay, so much Tanys has shared with us. All of her information, her link to her website, to Twillow Lifestyle Community. Now, do you have anything coming up tonight or this week you would like to share with everybody?
I have a Reiki 1 class online on Saturday.
Okay.
So we got we can have people from anywhere. And what else have we got coming up? Next week we have a 9-week class starting called Know Thyself. And it's going to be a lot of fun. That's with two of my other teachers as well from the school, Jennifer Jakowski, which some of you have seen on Twillow Talk,
Yep. Human
and
design.
yep, and Jacqueline Richards, who is she is the wealthy yogini. She is a yoga and financial specialist. So the three of us are teaming up with our stuff to do a 9-week class, which is going to be like a little taster for a whole bunch of different things. So we're looking forward to that. And we have a retreat coming up as well. That's an in-person retreat near the end of the month. We have, what else have we got coming up? We have one of the other teachers is doing Bach flower remedy class next Saturday, not this coming, but the one after,
Interesting.
I think, or Sunday. Anyway, it's in the next 2 weeks. Check that out. And
She's
yeah,
got a
I'm
smorgasbord of classes at her website.
yeah. And
That's
then I've
wonderful.
got we've got a few podcasts coming up too. So I've got 2 on Friday. One with Scott. Maybe Scott's next week, but a Friday I'm on with Scott at noon, and then I'm on with another one of our teachers, Ramsey Cheedy. We do open mic on Friday nights, every second Friday at 7. So
Now,
lots of
I'm aware of 2 readers within Scott. I know Scott Allen, Spiritual Essence, and Scott Scorpio Sun.
Scorpio Sun.
Sun. Okay, yes.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to having Scott next week on my channel for the first time too. And that incredible video that Gene shared with us
Yes,
of
with his
that
mom.
beautiful angelic energy coming in. That was just incredible. And yesterday, watch on playback, Tannis, Michelle, and Gerald from Tarot Stash had a incredible. No, it
It
wasn't
was
Michelle. It was
it was
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
They did it. Now that was considered a Twillow talk
It was a Twillow Talk. It was a special edition Twillow Talk, a
about,
2 hour.
and it was a 2 hour, and they were talking about grieving and a lot of us just being very open vulnerable, sharing, our stories and our experiences with each other. So
It's
unfortunately, I missed the
beautiful.
first half, but even if you just watch, one of the I mean, it was just really powerful. It was really moving.
Thank you. Thank you.
And do you and Michelle have anything coming up this week on YouTube?
Yes. Yes, we always have our Wednesday night at 7.
Wednesday night at 7.
Yes,
Okay.
for readings. So come and join us then, and then
That's
pop
when
in
I
on
was a
Friday.
guest last week. And it was
Exactly. Yeah.
wonderful. Oh my goodness. It was just popping. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, these ladies are really testing. If I had any doubt that I wasn't any as a reader, oh my God, they were gone that night. It was like, okay, okay, okay. And I loved going last because I'm like, okay, yeah, I got that too. Yeah. She
Yeah.
said that. I got that too.
It's
So
confirmation.
it was wonderful.
It's
The
amazing.
confirmation and everything was just incredible. So
We've been doing that for almost 2 years, and I'll tell you, almost every time there
mhm.
is very, very rarely been any discrepancy in the cards. It's almost always, they're all a very similar message that come out, even though we're very different readers and we pull out different details depending on who we are and that kind of thing. It's almost always there's a theme that goes through each of the 3 readings for a person.
And sometimes one reader might get a different message than the other reader, and it doesn't mean one read is off or wrong. It's that sometimes each person's multifaceted. So, let's say Tanys's message was supposed to address, let's say, a physical, whereas mine was to address something that was more of an emotional or relationship. So when it comes to readings, even if we may not have necessarily the same message, it's still, both messages are pertinent to that individual at that time. So like a crystal, many facets.
Well, and I always say this for people, even if we're doing future stuff, that's the most likely outcome. It's not necessarily the only possible outcome. So that's the other thing to keep in mind.
Oh,
Hi, Maruta.
I was trying to figure out what Maruta was doing, but this is, I guess,
Or like 23. Yeah.
are all these stones right here now. Wow. Is this man-made? This has to be
naturally occurring, I would think.
They have that many different stones into one stone? Wow. I'll have to really look this up. I am fascinated. I'm going to write it down really quick right now. Aura.
Or Light 23.
LITE 23. Okay. And then I'll see if one of my local crystal shops have that. So again, okay. Thank you, everybody. Do I have anything this week? Yes.
I'm sure you do, Heather. You're a busy lady.
I know I am now. I have Dream Detective Kate tomorrow afternoon. So I can't wait to have Kate on. It'll be my first time she'll be visiting me.
Awesome.
And then I have on Friday, I have Allison doing our weekly sidekicks. And Claudia from Cat Mama Meow is going to be joining us that night. Thursday, I don't have my book near me. I'm not sure if I have something going on Thursday. So, but yeah, definitely. Because, right now. Oh, and Allie is also going to be on my channel Friday from Heart and Soul Connected. So after we're done here and I have a little sip, I have thumbnails to make. So
I love Canva.
Yes, me too. And Oralite isn't man-made; it's an asteroid hit.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Understandable. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, awesome. Definitely have to look into that. So everybody, again, Tanys, thank you.
Thank you. Such an honor.
Thank you. It's an honor for me to have you on my channel. And thank you all. And we will see you on one of our next lives.
Sending you love, guys.
Bye.